Alright, this is going to be another fan mail unboxing, and today's package comes from friend and fellow YouTuber Douglas Rowe over in California. In this box is some ERTL items that I purchased from him, and apparently a bunch of extras that he threw in as freebies. And I'm not really sure how long this video is going to be. It may even be 2 parts. I'll just have to get into this box and see how much is in here. But that being said, I'll go ahead and get this open now. I have no idea where my knife got to, so I've got this puny thing to work with. But go ahead and get the box open here. I'll say one thing, it seems to be cutting well. I hate these priority boxes. Throw that thing aside. Alright, few things coming out here. Ooh, this might be interesting. I recognize a few things. Looks like some capsule play rail. Okay, wow. I was not expecting all this to come out of that box. As you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff here. Most of it is packed in bubble wrap, and it's gonna take me a while to unpack all this. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and I'll come back to you once I'm done. Okay, this is everything that Douglas sent along in that package. I believe everything here is the ERTL items that I purchased from him. He might have threw in 1 or 2 extras there. I do know this Scrap Trevor in the portrait packaging is a gift from him. But over here is some other stuff he threw in as well. And there's also this bag of apparently take-alongs that he once opened on camera. But I think what's here, I'll probably come back to this maybe in the next video, and probably just focus on the ERTL items for now. Alright, the first ERTLs we'll look at are Thomas and Percy, and this actually applies to all the ERTLs that I purchased in this bundle. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at them or go into too much detail, just because I've done that numerous times in other ERTL videos that I've done on the channel, and I don't want things to get repetitive in this unboxing. But in the case of Thomas and Percy here, I'm not sure if I purchased these from Douglas or if he just threw them in as extras. I don't recall asking for another Percy just because I've already got so many here as is. But this one really doesn't look too bad. Paint's pretty good on it. Stickers are good, other than missing a sticker on the buffer on the back. But I'm thinking about possibly throwing this into my collection just because of, you know, how good the condition is. As for Thomas, he's pretty much the same deal. Paint looks good. Missing a buffer sticker on the back, but pretty much complete. I don't really know what I'm going to do with him, but who knows. The next character I have here is Edward, and both of them are pretty much the same condition. A little bit of paint chipping, but not too much wear on these. This one has painted on buffers, whereas the other one has sticker buffers. So I'm going to say this Edward is probably a post-2000 ERTL release. Even though it's dated on the bottom here, 1989, you can't always go off of those dates. But I think I got both of these for projects. I really don't remember. My mind's kind of a blank at the moment, so yeah. But I've got 2 of them here, and here's something interesting. Douglas threw this in as well. I don't think I bought this, but he writes on this package here, "Look how they massacred my boy." And I know exactly what this is. I'll open it up here. And if you guys hold Edward close to your heart, you may want to turn off the video now, because you're not going to like what comes out of this package. This has got to be the worst condition I have ever seen an ERTL in. I mean, Edward looks like he's gone through an inferno and just been stoned to death, basically. Just, I mean, look at the oxidation you have on that die cast as well. It's almost like this ERTL is covered in like some sort of cancerous growth. Yeah, I don't know. If you want a before and after, well, there you have it. Up next, I've got two Henrys, and both are in played with condition, but this seems to be the better of the two. It still has most of its buffer stickers, doesn't have any dings on the corners of the tender, which this seems to be a common that they're dinged up like that one. And that one cab sticker was put on a little bit low. But not a whole lot I can say about these. I think I bought them for projects. One of them, I believe, is I want to make a blue Henry or an old shape Henry, I don't recall. But yeah, it'll be great to have these to use for those projects that I want to do. I also got this Gordon in that bundle, and again, this is in a played with state, quite a bit of paint chipping, but nothing's broken off or missing other than the buffer stickers. However, I did notice that there is one on the back of the tender here, so at least that one's accounted for, I guess. Gordon does have some rust on the axles, although it's not too bad. I think that could be cleaned up fairly easily. And if I'm correct, I got this for a project, but I can't recall what exactly. So I'll probably have to go back on my customs list and see where I needed one of these. Now, I haven't got in one of these for a while, but this is the bowled out diesel, or as he was referred to, the class 40. And this is another one that I got for a custom, but I'm not going to tell you what at this time. This is, again, a played with state, paint chipping and spots. It's also missing one of the buffer stickers, although it does have most of them, I guess. Underside doesn't look too bad either, pretty clean. Dated 97, I believe that's when the class 40 was released by ERTL. But I'm quite looking forward to the little project I have planned for this. Yes, City of Truro. One ERTL that I've seen come through here numerous times and don't mind seeing again and again. And this one here, I've actually got for a project I'm planning on doing. Not going to tell you what it is just because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But condition of this is okay. It does have some paint chipping here and there, but I plan on touching that up, which that might give away part of what I have in mind for this. And although I've said this before on this channel whenever I show City of Truro, friend and fellow YouTuber Rob the Red Engine, he actually drove the real locomotive prior to being withdrawn from service at NRM. And, you know, I just... one of those deals, because I know that, I kind of regard City of Truro as a favorite of mine. And I'm really looking forward to what I have in store for this ERTL. So I've got three narrow gauge engines here, being Peter Sam, Sir Handel, and Rusty, and all three of these I've got projects planned for. They're all in a played with state. They've got paint chips and what have you, and I'll show Peter Sam here. And you can see overall he's not too bad, at least he still has his funnel. I actually found one of these one time, the funnel had been snapped off. I don't have that anymore. I sent it to the YouTuber Jacob K just because, you know, he was like me, like how the hell did somebody do that? But yeah, overall, Peter Sam, not too bad. And then Sir Handel, same deal. Played with, paint chipping. Someone painted the buffers black, but they should be silver. That face is creeping me out. But lastly, got Rusty here. Again, some paint chipping and what have you. I'm surprised he's got his buffer stickers still. But my plan for Rusty here is I want to use him to make a Railway Series custom of Rusty, which it won't be an exact match, but, you know, he'll be the proper color and what have you. Moving on to rolling stock, we'll start with the troublesome trucks, which I've got 6 of them here, but I've only got 2 sets. And that's because when ERTL released these in a set, they came with one of these rearward facing trucks and one of these frontward facing trucks. And as you can see, I've only got 2 of these ones and 4 of these ones. But I will bring in an official set that I have here, and this is 2001 because that's what the date is on these bases. and you can see that the codes do match, so I'm thinking this is an official set. But condition on all these trucks really isn't bad. There's nothing broken off or missing. No evident paint chips on these, other than some of these have them on the bases, but that's quite common. And I have to say, I think some of these look nicer than the ones that I have in my collection. One thing I will say is these gray troublesome trucks, they are definitely the most common ones that ERTL made, because when they first made these in 1990, they were actually in brown, and I do have a set of those that I would show if I had them available at this time. I also got these Annie and Clarabelle coaches, which condition on these again is played with, but other than a little bit of scuffing, they're not too bad. Big thing is the buffers are still on these, the couplers aren't broken, and I do have plans to use these for a custom project that I have, although I do need quite a few more of these. I'm thinking possibly more Clarabelles than Annies, but I don't know. It's something I'll have to get more of these coaches before I can really start on. I also purchased these old coaches, and this one here is probably the best out of the three of them. It looks practically mint, but the other two have quite a few problems. This one here, for example, it's got a bent axle on it, which that could be easily straightened. Come to think of it, this one here looks kind of bent as well. But it's also got a broken buffer on the back. And as for this one over here, well, other than the sticker being pretty much destroyed, there's some scuffing and scratching and what have you, but I'm not too concerned about condition with these because I plan on using them for customs. And as for the axles and even the broken buffer, I could easily fix those up with what I got in my parts bin. And the last thing I have for rolling stock are these express coaches. Now, I do have this one here, which is one of Gordon's special coaches, and I actually got this to put in my collection. It does need a bit of a cleaning, but condition on it's pretty good. A little bit of scuffing there, but that'll buff out. But as for the rest of these express coaches, I'm planning on using these for a custom project I have. And I mean, really, you look at them, the stickers are kind of a write-off anyways. Now, this one here does have one issue, which is the buffer's broken off. But like I mentioned with the old coaches, a broken buffer is something I can probably easily fix with what I have in my parts bin. So I'm looking quite forward to getting to work on these. The last ERTL Douglas sent along was the Scrap Trevor, which is mint in the portrait packaging. And this was actually something he gifted me. And the story Douglas told me was apparently his local hobby shop, which I'm not going to name because I don't want a repeat of what happened at my local hobby shop years ago. They were supposedly discounting a bunch of ERTL stock, and he picked this up because he knew I'd like it. And I've said it before, I'm a big fan of the portrait packaging. It's got to be my favorite packaging that ERTL ever did, because you got the Owen Bell artwork with the character here, the nice background with the scenics and the village, and of course you got the character's name right here. Again, it's got to be the best packaging ERTL ever did. But you can see the character here in the package. Trevor's just there sitting on the scrap flatbed, which this would later be used for the flatbed that went on the Chinese Dragon as well. And going around to the back of the box here, you can see that we got the collector card there, character bio and historical note. If you want to read any of that, you can pause the video. Same with the collector's list here. And going down to the bottom, I'm seeing a date of 1995, which I believe that's when the Scrap Trevor became available. And, you know, I'm really liking this, and I'm definitely going to look forward to adding this to my portrait packaging ERTL collection. So that was all the ERTLs that Douglas sent over to me. And like I mentioned, I did purchase quite a few of these, but I think Douglas threw in a couple extras aside from the Scrap Trevor here. And I'm still wondering to myself, like, what the hell did somebody do to Edward to put him in this horrendous state? But, you know, it is great to have these. I'm planning on putting some of them in my collection. Others will be going towards projects I want to do. And, you know, I'm just really thankful to Douglas for sending these over to me, because it seems like I can always use ERTLs for something or another. So it was great taking a look at all these ERTLs that Douglas sent along. However, there's still quite a bit he sent that I haven't looked at yet. And considering this video is getting a bit long for my liking, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and we'll pick up looking at the rest of this stuff in part 2, because I'd really like to look into these yearbooks a little bit. Plus, Douglas also sent this one package that says open on camera, and I'm quite curious what resides in this. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. You guys have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. And we'll pick up looking at the rest of this in part 2, which I'll have linked as well once it becomes available. See you then.